Doing great. How about you, John?
I'm doing pretty good. UTSA dominated last night, and I couldn't be happier seeing Tulane get beat. Not only get beat, but UTSA played probably one of their best games of the season. I think last night, especially defensively.
Where has that UTSA team been all year?
I,
Because
I they only play in the Alamo Dome. As you know, they got beat up by North Texas last weekend. So yeah, I mean, I wish I knew. It's two different teams. There's the Alamo Dome UTSA team, and then whenever they're away from home, it's a completely different story. But I wish that defense showed up against Texas State, though. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, yeah, that'd be nice. But yeah, wishing now that UTSA had not lost to Temple, because UTSA has an opportunity to go into South Florida. I know they're a terrible road team. UTSA is, but they have an opportunity to really alter the American standings in that game. And if they were to
Yep.
win that game, there could be some chaos at the top of the conference. We had that preseason future on UTSA for their American odds, so that'd be nice. But let's see. I guess there's still some chaos potential in the American at the top because there's not a lot of difference between those top 4 to 5 teams. North Texas, they have a very manageable schedule moving forward. So if they are able to beat Navy tomorrow, that's a big win for UNT.
Yeah.
That would be a big win for UNT. And then UTSA at USF, and then the rest of their schedule is kind of manageable. They host East Carolina, they host Army. Memphis still have a couple of tough games left. Have a sandwich game tonight against Rice, which we'll get into on the show today. So yeah, as you can see, I'm trying to think of a scenario where UTSA could slide into the American title.
Yeah, it's possible they would need Temple to lose Saturday for sure. And then of course Navy, I believe, still undefeated in conference.
Yeah, but Navy probably has the most difficult schedule
Scheduled
left in the
remaining. Okay.
conference. Yeah, they still have to play. Yeah, at UNT tomorrow. They still have to play Memphis, South Florida, and then
Army.
non-conference. Yeah, of course, Army's not going to be counted as a conference game. That's going to take place after the conference title. They
Yeah.
still have to play Notre Dame, although obviously that's a non-conference game. But yeah, Navy has a really difficult schedule from here on out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it should should be an interesting race to end the season. But let's go ahead and get into week 10. We're excited about it. I know I am. And we went over it on Monday. We had a lot of plays, a lot of numbers that we loved on Monday, and a lot of them have changed now. My record on the season is, I believe, 17, 14, and how many pushes? Two pushes, four
Four,
pushes?
four.
Four pushes, yeah. So I'm coming off of my first losing weekend in a while, and you're coming off a winning weekend. What's your record now this season?
21 and 22, thanks to some weeknight losses over the last 2 weeks, because I've had awesome Saturdays for
Yeah,
3 straight weeks. 3 consecutive winning weeks overall. But yeah, those weeknight games, I may just have to do my best to avoid them. Friday night is a little bit different, but like I've lost some Tuesday and Thursday
yeah,
night Conference USA. Maybe I'll just stay away from that. But I mean, 3 straight winning weekends and 3 straight winning weeks overall, and yeah, maybe just stick to Friday night and Saturday.
I like it. I like it. Well, speaking of, let's go ahead and jump into it because I know you've got some stuff on all three Friday night games, at least some insight for everyone. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First game tonight. This one's at 6. Memphis Tigers laying 13 and a half at the Rice Owls. Take it away.
So for those that tune in to our early show on Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, we talked about Memphis plus, or excuse me, Rice plus 14 and a half hosting Memphis earlier in the week. This was one of my best bets. This was my first best bet of week 10. I love Rice in this spot for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is a sandwich spot for Memphis. We were just talking about this a few moments ago. Memphis coming off the big win against South Florida. They have Tulane next week. I know Tulane just got boat raced, but it's still a little bit of a tricky spot here. It's a short week for Memphis traveling to Rice. Not that Rice is an extremely difficult place to play, but this could be an interesting matchup, especially when you're talking about the number that we got, 14 and a half. Obviously, that's a large number. This is kind of a a look ahead spot here for Memphis. And we've seen Ryan Silverfield, the head coach for Memphis, kind of struggle in these spots when he's playing against inferior competition in trap games. Memphis normally doesn't cover the spread in those kind of games, and Rice is not that they're great at much this year, but one thing that I know for sure that Rice will do is slow the pace down. Rice offense kind of had a bounce back game last week against UConn. They won that game outright, and UConn's been a pretty good team this year, so that's a good sign for Rice. The offense is playing a little bit better. They should be able to slow the pace down. I would imagine that time of possession for Rice is going to be in their favor. The question is, can Rice defense can they keep things in front of them because this is a very explosive Memphis offense with some legit body types for a G5 team, and I think Rice can. I like Scott Abel and what he's able to do. So I trust Rice to cover that large number. I wouldn't even be shocked, John, if this game is really close. In the fourth quarter, entering the fourth quarter, we'll see what happens there. But Rice plus 14 and a half, those key numbers, folks. That's one of my best bets this week because now it's 13 and a half. Pretty much everywhere you look, there might be some flat 14s. I don't hate it at 14, certainly, but 14 and a half, I love it.
And what do you think about 13 and a half for, let's just say it closes at 13 and a half for the people that unfortunately didn't watch the show on Monday? It,
I
it's it's always that risk that you're gonna run, getting beat on the hook there. But like you were saying, you think it could be a close game. This could be a 7, 10, 13 point game. And Rice with a chance to, maybe spring an upset here at home.
I don't hate it at 13 and a half. It just feels like you're going to be sweating it out because even if it's like a one score game, let's say Memphis
Hmm.
is up 28-21 with 3.5 minutes to go, and Rice has the football and they're trying to go down and score, and then Memphis gets a pick six or something like that.
Yeah,
There's always that chance. So, I mean, I don't hate it at 13 and a half. There's just a greater chance you're going to be sweating it out. But at
definitely.
14 and a half, I feel like with that hook, um, I mean, obviously, there's a chance you can always have like a bad beat and you can lose in a really bad way and just an unfortunate way, I should say. But
Hmm.
at 14 and a half, I feel like there's a little bit of a cushion there because Memphis could still win by a full two touchdowns, and I'm not sure they will. And you could, still win that play. But at 13 and a half, I don't hate it.
Yeah, and I'm looking now at Bet Online. if if you want to buy that hook up to 14, it's only 10 cents, which isn't terrible to be honest with you. And if you really want the 14 and a half, it's going to cost 20 cents. That's not terrible, but with 14 being that key number, I would go ahead and pay the 10 cents to buy up to Rice plus 14 minus 120. It's worth it just to, these, we talk about all the time, these midweek games, weird things happen. We saw, what was it, that Middle Tennessee Hail Mary pick six play a couple days ago. Like,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of weird things that could happen in these games. So I normally don't buy points very often. It's very rare. But in this scenario, buying for 10 cents to 14, I don't hate that. And if you're really scared to be holding that 13 and a half ticket, just go ahead, spend the 10 cents, get the hook, and then enjoy the game. And let's hope for a 3 point, 7 point game there.
I can see it. I've seen Ryan Silverfield and Memphis in these kind of games. They normally do not bring their A performance. And Rice, again, I don't think they're a great team. They're not very talented, but I think they're coached pretty well. I didn't like them against UTSA. Obviously, we had UTSA as the best bet a couple weeks ago against
Yeah.
Rice, but now Rice at home, they're playing a little bit better. Now I'm tailing Rice.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get that. That situation was teed up perfectly for UTSA homecoming. They desperate for a win and they destroyed Rice. So yeah. All right, next game, 6:30. North Carolina Tar Heels at Syracuse Orange Men. Orange laying 2.5 points. What do you think about this game?
I lean North Carolina. They're playing better right now. I'll make it simple there. Obviously, North Carolina's defense is better than Syracuse defense. The question is, which offense do you trust more? And that answer is probably, I have no clue. That's probably
Yeah.
most people's answer, and for good reason. This is this is a respectable game being played on Halloween because this is going to be spooky, scary, bad. My goodness. Um, I lean UNC here though because they're trending up, although ever so slightly. I'm not suggesting that North Carolina is playing great, but at least
Yeah.
from where they were, they're trending up. That's a low bar
Yeah.
to clear, obviously. But Syracuse, they had a low bar to clear to be better than what they've been the past couple of weeks, and they haven't cleared it. In fact, they're getting worse. So like what coaching staff do you trust more? Honestly, I don't really know. And the unit that I trust the most in this game would be the North Carolina defense. Like, it's been the
Mhm.
most consistent unit of overall from special teams, offensively and defensively for these two squads. So I lean UNC here, and again, they've come close the last couple of weeks. Maybe they're going to have their breakthrough moment, and by breakthrough I mean beat a bad Syracuse team. So I mean, not exactly giving them their roses
Mhm.
there, but
Yeah.
I lean UNC here. But maybe the best way to play this, honestly, would be to take the Syracuse team total under 23.5.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. North Carolina, they lost by 1 point last week to Virginia, and then I believe 3 points at Cal a couple weeks ago. So they're teetering. They're right there on the cusp of a win. Maybe a beat up Syracuse team is the recipe they need. But yeah, that's an interesting game. If I was to bet it, I would also take the Tar Heels. So I agree with you on that point, though.
Oh, real quick, I want to mention. So last night we talked about the UTSA Tulane game a little bit. Did you see the Coastal Carolina Marshall game?
I did not. I did not. I think I saw it on the TV for maybe a second, but I have no idea what happened or the final score there.
So I think the trajectory of both Marshall and Coastal Carolina this year summarizes the G5 pretty well. It most of the G5, no offense to these fans, teams, programs, alum, all of that, but no offense to the G5 land. I think it's subpar play. Like it's just not that good. And like I know like there's some guys who stand out, and there's going to be some guys who transfer up that are, and there's still a lot of good athletes out there. I mean, they're
Yeah,
collegiate athletes. I'm not saying that they suck. It's just that the overall quality of play is just not good, and but that's the case for almost every G5 team. It's just not that great,
yeah,
and so it's watered down. That's what it is now. Because where I'm going with this is like Coastal Carolina, they've been playing much better the last few weeks, although you kind of question how good the competition is because Coastal Carolina a month ago, everyone was fading Coastal and they looked like they were going to be a 2 or 3 win team. And now they're 1 win away from making a bowl game. Marshall, they started the season off cold. They were looking like they were going to go 2-10 or 3-9. And then a couple of weeks ago, it's like, oh my gosh, is this the second or third best team in the East Division of the Sun Belt? And then now it's like, what do we make of the Sun Belt? Not just Marshall and Coastal Carolina. I think we all know JMU's good. No one was questioning that. Like Texas State, they lost a bunch of close games. They're probably better than their record, but again, they have yet to win a game in Sun Belt play. Arkansas State, their record's okay, but they're definitely not as good by the eye test as their record says. South Alabama, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, all these teams are disappointing. Southern Miss is the one team like we've actually, predicted very well so
yeah,
far this year. We were on the Golden Eagles, but like, everyone else besides Southern Miss, JMU, Troy's been playing well. Everyone else is like, it's like you can argue best of the rest from the other 11 teams, but it's like no one's really that good.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, and a lot of disappointing teams, like you mentioned, especially Texas State. They got killed by James Madison the other day, but I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I enjoy seeing that, to be honest with you. But
Oh, it's certainly interesting. It's just the quality of plays.
yeah, yeah, especially when if you find 1 star, 2 star, and they have an amazing season, they're gone the next
Yep.
year, right? They're just in which, I get it, I get it, but it does suck for the smaller schools.
And like someone's got to win these games. It's like all these teams are kind of mid, but someone's got to win. So someone's going
Yeah.
to overachieve, someone's going to underachieve. What it probably comes down to more so nowadays than it did in the past is coaching and in-game management. If you have pretty
Hmm.
good coaching or really good coaching, you're probably going to overachieve, even if your talent is worse. And by worse, it's not that much worse than the couple of the teams above you in power ratings and whatnot. So we said this, I think, last year, John, and it's just being proven even to a larger degree this season.
Hmm.
The tier two and tier three of the G5 is not as good as it used to be. And so, like, it used to be you would have your top team in the conference, and you still have that a little bit, and not just in the Sun Belt. You can go to the American, you can go to the Mountain West. Most years you can go to well, I shouldn't say most. Some years you can go to the MAC and Conference USA for that as well. But it used to be, you'd have a clear top team or clear like top two or top three teams in your conference or
Hmm.
division, and then you would have the clear middle tier. They weren't going to beat the top tier, but they were certainly going to beat the bottom tier. Now the middle and the bottom tier is kind of all mixed together. Yes, there are some teams, and by some I mean like a few of
Yeah.
136 teams. There might be a handful of teams that are just not good, like a Sam Houston, a UMass, but like everyone else kind of has a pulse in respect to the tier above them. So tier 2 and tier 3, so the middle and the bottom tier of the G5, they're all kind of mixed together now. And so you have the bottom teams with higher floors and the middle teams with lower ceilings. So it's just kind of a jumbled mess now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and we talked about that quite a bit this year, especially regarding our futures, to where it's hard to bet, unders or even overs on some of these smaller schools because it's all just every game's a 50-50 game, especially when they're being played Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays.
Yeah.
I mean, these games are really coin flips. You can't just say, Marshall's going to be terrible this season, and same thing with Coastal, and now they're winning games. So yeah, all of these teams have an equal opportunity to get wins. So it's hard to go under on a lot of their team totals for the season.
Right. And like this year's Coastal Carolina, this year's Marshall, if you put them in the 2018 Sun Belt, 2019 Sun Belt, they're probably going to go like 3-9, 4-8,
Yeah.
if that, honestly. But now it's like I think they can go 6-6, 7-5 if things go right because the teams are right around them are not that much better or worse than they are. So
Yeah, because now if you have a Joey Aguilar at quarterback, now he's a quarterback at Tennessee,
right.
and he was for what 1 or 2 years at App State, and yeah. So if you find a Joey Aguilar, he's gonna be gone the next year, and you got to start all over. So yeah, that makes it even more difficult for those schools.
Moving forward though, like with the G5 futures, what DDSN Nation, what you're going to see from me moving forward every single year, at least from preseason futures, you are probably not going to see many, if any, unders that I take with win totals in regards to the G5 unless there's a sell high opportunity in the American. Because that's the one league with actual tiers. It's the one
Yeah.
G5 league with actual tiers. Um, and then what you're also going to see, maybe a little bit more from me than what I've done in the past, not significantly more, but just maybe a couple more preseason futures, is to buy low. So, like some teams that you feel could break through with coaching, maybe a little bit of undervalued talent that they got through the portal, maybe, and their win total is like a 3.5, a 4.5, a 5.5, and you feel the teams above them are really not that much more talented, and you feel this team could overachieve because of coaching and again maybe some undervalued talent, that's a good buy low. Now, how many of those are you going to have? Probably not a lot, but I think in today's world and today's landscape in the G5, you're going to have a couple of more buy low than you are going to have sell high, obviously, in the G5. And if you think there's going to be a juggernaut in a league, or maybe a couple of juggernauts nationally. So, like this year, we thought South Florida had some upside. We knew Memphis, Tulane. We thought UTSA had some upside. That's like half of our upside G5 teams were in the American. We thought JMU could be good. We thought Toledo could be good. They have not lived up to expectation. But those would be maybe some like long shots that you put a little bit in to see how much you can win if that was able to cash in. But those would be my preseason futures. Looking to see if there's some buy low teams, one or two sell highs in the American, and then try to find some long shots, maybe like a playoff long shot if you think there's going to be a juggernaut.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the G5, let's go to the next game and the last game tonight, and that's going to be the Sam Houston State Bearcats at the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs in Ruston. Bulldogs laying 17 points here. Surprisingly, I haven't heard you talk anything about this game yet. So, what do you think here?
Hmm. Well, I've lost twice, two times in a row now with Louisiana Tech, and like I lean Louisiana Tech here. Like Sam Houston's just so bad, but
Yeah.
honestly, I think the best way to play this game would be to take the under. Sam Houston's defense is just not that good. They're a little bit better against the run than the pass. Louisiana Tech is
Hmm.
better running the ball than throwing the ball first. Definitely, although they threw the ball a little bit better against Western Kentucky, so that was nice to see. Louisiana Tech's defense is still really good. They didn't play great in the second quarter against Western Kentucky. They were one down away from getting that stop 4th and 10 away from a victory. So like defense has got to step up there. But like they were great for 3 quarters in that game. Hardly allowed any first downs in the entire second half. I think maybe 5 or 6 first downs for Western Kentucky in the second half of that
Hmm.
game. And they pitched a shutout. Louisiana Tech did. So I trust Louisiana Tech here to obviously win. I'm not sure about the margin of victory though. So I lean under. I don't think Sam Houston's scoring much against Louisiana Tech. Does Louisiana Tech keep their foot on the gas, needing a win after a couple of losses in a row here? Maybe so. Maybe, this is a get right spot for Louisiana Tech. Could be,
Hmm.
but I lean under for the overall game point for the overall game total, but I'm not going to have a best bet on this game.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I have nothing there. All right, let's move on to the Saturday games. And the first one here we have is the Duke Blue Devils taking on the Clemson Tigers. Tigers laying 3 points at home. What do you think about this game?
I lean Duke here. I think they've been the better team. Clemson's 0-4 against the spread at home. There's a nugget for y'all. I think Duke has a better quarterback. Clemson's not fully healthy right now. They lost their best receiver to a season-ending injury. So
Hmm.
I like the Blue Devils here +3. This could also be a decent little money line sprinkle, but I thought about making this a best bet, but I have a handful of other best bets that I like a little bit more. So I lean Duke here, but at the same time, if Klubnik is healthy, and I don't think he is, even if he plays, he's not fully healthy.
Yeah.
But this would also be like a get right spot for Clemson. Both teams are coming off of a bye. Do you have a best bet here, John?
No, I mean Duke getting 3 points now. It's juiced to Clemson, but yeah, there's no way I could bet on Clemson. I don't. I'm not. I haven't, and I'm not gonna do it again. Um, who did Clemson play last week? Did they have a bye or did they?
Yeah, Clemson had a bye, and then the week before that, they
It was
lost to
SMU.
SMU.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I mean Duke, I don't hate it, but again, I don't really have anything here. Georgia Tech beat Duke pretty easily, and Clemson, if they do have a good game, they should be able to take care of Duke. But yeah, I just want nothing to do with either of these teams, to be honest with you. All right, next
Real
game.
quick, I will
Go
say,
ahead.
I,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna look up the schedule here. I want to say that Duke plays Virginia next week.
That's a home game for them.
Oh, it's 2 weeks from now, so November 15th. Yes, that is a home game. Duke will host Virginia. I'm probably gonna be on Duke on that game. So
Okay. All right, next game. Interesting spread here. Penn State Nittany Lions at Ohio State Buckeyes. Buckeyes laying 19 points. This went from, I believe, 21, 20 and a half. Now it's down to 19. What do you think about this game?
I wanted so bad to have a best bet for this game. I really did. I was trying to find angles, but um, I don't know what to expect from the Ohio State offense in this game. So, do they try to put up a large number and try to beat down Penn State when what's the phrase like when they're down like you keep like beating them like what's that phrase?
You kick a dog while it's down?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Um, is it like beating a dead horse or
Yeah,
no?
well,
That's
yeah,
beating
beating a
a dead
dead
horse.
horse, something like that too. Yeah.
So, um, I I don't know if Ohio State's offense will keep its foot on the gas or do they just try to come away with a win and try to have that load management for the playoff? We saw Ohio State kind of do that last year. They don't sometimes they don't keep their foot on the gas. They don't try to
Hmm.
win by as much as they can like Indiana would.
Yeah.
Um, so, but I don't think Penn State's scoring much. Um, I think of the last like 9 or 10 matchups, the under between these two has cashed most of the time. Um, I don't really have a lean here. Penn State's team total is 10.5. If you feel like Penn State's not scoring anything more than like 7 to 10 points, you can bet that. I don't have anything for this game. I wanted to. Do you?
No, nothing for me. I mean, I know Ohio State's undefeated against the spread, but a big
Yeah.
spread like this, the one time that I do take Ohio State, they'll probably end up winning by 17 points. So
Yeah.
I know, Ohio State may want to get back at their old defensive coordinator um, at Penn State, but,
Yep.
nothing for me here. This is one of those games where if I bet one side, which I'm not going to bet Penn State, nor would I ever, but if I did take Ohio State, it would be the one time they win by like 17 points or something. So yeah,
Yep.
I don't want to deal with that. So no, nothing for me on that game. If I was to play something, it would be Ohio State. Ohio State's been playing strong, undefeated against the spread. They keep mowing down teams by at least 3 touchdowns. So you're getting it under 3 touchdowns. So if you need some early action, I would just lay the points to be honest. But no play for me though. All right, next game. I know you kind of mentioned this earlier in the week, so I want to just check back in with you, and that's Army laying one on the road at Air Force. Anything in this game?
No, I'm not going to have a best bet here. Army has actually done pretty well against the Air Force in recent years, and that comes during a time when Air Force was actually pretty good in football
Yeah.
a couple years ago and a few years ago. They actually had a run there of like 4 years. Air Force was like really good, like 3 out of 4 years or 4 out of 5 years. They were really good in 2019. They weren't quite as good in the COVID year, but you take that with a grain of salt. They had really good squads in 2022 and 2023. They kind of finished. Well, they didn't play that great down the stretch in 2023. But and of course last year they had a rebuilding season, and this
Yeah.
year it's not really been a rebuild for Air Force. It's just their schedule was pretty difficult in the first half of the season, and we all know about Air Force this year. Great offense, terrible defense. It might be the worst defense in the country. I don't have any. I don't have anything for this game. Normally with these military schools going up against each other, you just take the under, and it normally cashes, and maybe it does, but this Air Force defense is not typically what it is, and then the Air Force offense is also not typically what it is, but for the better. They got a
Yeah.
really good quarterback who I've talked a couple times on the show about. I'm there might be a buy low situation on Air Force for next year, but I I don't have anything for this game. Do you?
No, no, no. Service academies, they always go horribly wrong for me, and I just stay away from them
Yeah.
every time. All right, next game. Pretty big game at 11 a.m. Vanderbilt Commodores at the Texas Longhorns. UT laying 3 points. You got anything here?
Damn right, I got something for this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, give me the under in this game. So DDSN Nation, this is point total number 2 for me this year. I'm 0-1, so I'm looking to bounce back after a month ago losing my first one and only one up to this point. I took an under with Texas against Florida. Should have gone on it earlier than what I did, although I still would have barely missed. So
Yeah.
sometimes you get those opening numbers and you still have a bad beat. But most of the time that you get on things and the market agrees with you and it's changing by a couple of points, majority I should well yeah, a little bit over half the time you're probably going to cash it. So trying to get on top of movement as we always do here at DDSN, but give me under between Texas and Vanderbilt. I think the best number you can find right now is a 47. I tweeted
I'm
that
seeing
out.
47 and a half. Yeah, bet online.
Woo! 47 and a half. Give me the
Houston, the
under.
under $1.18, but you still get 47 and a half though.
Yeah, give me under 47 and a half between these two. I tweeted this out earlier in the week when it was 45 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand this movement here because maybe this has to do with Arch Manning likely to play, and
I'm
also
assuming.
the spread went up from 1.5 to 2.5 in Texas' favor. So that tells me maybe Arch Manning is likely to play. To tell y'all the truth, whether Manning plays or not, I love this under. If you got at 45 and a half, I still like that. 47 and a half, absolutely. This is one
Yeah.
of the first times though that the line movement does not agree with my thinking here. It's one of the first times I've experienced that, but I still like under 47 and a half. So we can talk about, the offensive lines likely to struggle in this game against the opposing team's defensive lines. I don't think either team is going to get much of a push here. But here's the biggest thing. The pace of play from both teams favors an under in this kind of a game, especially. So I like the under every kind of way that you look at this. Also, the majority of Vanderbilt's success offensively has come from Diego Pavia's um, ability to string out the play, the ability to make something happen when it's
Yeah.
not there, to improvise. That's the majority. It's at least half of Vanderbilt's success offensively comes from Diego Pavia and his ability to improvise.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at his yards after contact from the last few weeks in SEC play, it's gone down significantly. So that tells me two things. One, it's the grind of the SEC. So that also has to do sometimes you're not as healthy as you were earlier in the season. That's the case for most individuals and most teams. But second, Vanderbilt's competition has also gotten better. When you looked at Vanderbilt's schedule coming into the season, there was a decent chance, not a great chance, but a decent chance that they could get off to a fast start thanks to the non conference play and facing more beatable teams early on in SEC play. Well, now down the stretch, Vanderbilt, playing Alabama, playing Missouri, playing LSU. Not that LSU is great, but they're better body type wise than South
Yeah.
Carolina. And so the talent is just increasing. Now you go on the road to play Texas. This is the second biggest road game for Vanderbilt this year. The other big road game that they had against Alabama, they lost and they didn't cover, although they probably should have covered, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And then you still have to play Tennessee, Auburn, who has a good defense. um, so I think we're likely to see the Diego Pavia improvising stuff maybe lessen a little bit as the season wears on. I am not calling Vanderbilt a fraud. They have been a legit team this year. I'm just wondering how sustainable this Diego Pavia pulls a trick out of his hat again.
Yeah.
How many more of those kind of plays are we going to see from Vanderbilt against quality defenses like Texas? Tennessee doesn't really have a quality defense, but against upper echelon competition, especially against this UT defense on the road.
Yeah.
So I like the under here. I also don't mind taking the Vanderbilt team total under 21 and a half. But just in case Vanderbilt proves us wrong again, and Texas proves some of us right and proves some others wrong, depending on how you view Texas. Maybe Vanderbilt wins a slugfest here. Maybe Texas wins a slugfest. I just have a hard time seeing both teams scoring, a decent amount here. Maybe one team gets some more points off of turnovers than the other. One team makes less mistakes than the other. That could be the case. I don't have a best bet in terms of who I think's winning this game, but give me the under.
All right, under 47 and a half. And I talked about this game earlier in the week on Monday, and I've been on Vanderbilt back-to-back weeks against LSU, against Missouri, both under. Well, no, they're actually favored against LSU. Excuse me, and well, they're favored in both games. My bad. But now I'm flipping and I'm going with the Longhorns. I like the money line. Earlier in the week, it was minus. It was back when Texas was minus one and a half. So I got the money line at minus 125, I believe, 124, 125. I like this Texas running game against this Vanderbilt defense. Missouri was able to run the ball all over Vanderbilt, I believe, over maybe 250 yards, maybe more. But yeah, if Texas can run the ball, use Arch Manning if he starts, and use the running game to their advantage. Missouri's problem was they couldn't throw the ball with Prbula, and then he got hurt, and then they really couldn't throw the ball. So if that didn't happen, Vanderbilt maybe loses that game. They had a stand on the 1 yard line, goal line stand to stop Missouri. Basically, won them the game. Now they have to go on the road. Now they're going to be hunted by Texas, and this is a huge game for Texas. Texas is trying to crawl their way back. Took a miracle against Mississippi State, but now the Longhorns, they're at home. It feels like Texas is a favorite in this game, but they do feel like an underdog here. Um, I like the Longhorns, and I got this on the money line. Like I said, minus 125. Talked about it, gave it out on Monday. Now it's -3. Do I want to lay 3? I don't know. All these Texas games are coming down. I mean, the last two UT games have gone to overtime, so taking the 3 points, I think this might go back down to 2.5 or so. Or the money line at 150. I don't know. I would just lay the 3 points, but I do like Texas here, so you could lay the 3 points. Like I said, I think that these close calls are finally going to catch up with the Vanderbilt offense, kind of like you mentioned, and whether Arch Manning starts or not, it doesn't really matter to me. If the backup's in, I like that because then they'll be able to throw the ball. But I really like UT to use the running game to take down Vanderbilt here. So give me the Longhorns on the money line. And those who didn't watch the show Monday, I would wait to see how this line moves. But I think Texas can win by at least a field goal here.
So is your best bet going to be an early play here, Texas money line?
Yeah, it's going to be Texas money line from the Monday show.
Gotcha.
Next game, Rutgers at Illinois. Illinois lane 12 and a half points. Any info here?
What's the point total here?
62 and a half.
So most Rutgers games have gone over the total. I mean, it's pretty much been every single week. So I lean over there. So I don't have any best bets for this game, but if I had a lean, that would be it.
Okay. All right, yeah, nothing for me. Next game, Arizona State at Iowa State. Iowa State lane 8 points. I know you kind of talked about this one on Monday when it was 5.5. Are you pulling the trigger here?
I wanted to. I was thinking about playing Iowa State first half. Iowa
Okay.
State's coming off, back to back to back losses and a disappointing loss to BYU in a game that they outplayed BYU until the fourth quarter. Significantly outplayed BYU in the first half. Here's the thing: Iowa State, outside of Cincinnati, they've been mostly a first half team this season. Arizona State has been mostly a second half team. Haven't started their games off quite as well in some other games this season. Also, Arizona State, the travel here, this is a pretty early start time for them. What's their psyche? like right now after losing a heartbreaker. I shouldn't say a heartbreaker because they had to come back, but after losing at home to Houston, after a big win against Texas Tech, and then the starting quarterback is out now. That news was just released a couple hours ago with
Hmm.
Sam Levitt. So what's their psyche like early on the road here? Iowa State wanting to get revenge from last year's Big 12 title loss. So if
Yep.
anything, I kind of lean Iowa State first half just because I don't trust the Cyclones as much in the second half, and Arizona State pretty good in garbage time. So yeah, that would be my lean here. I thought about making it a best bet as well. We'll see.
Yeah, I believe last time Levitt was out, Arizona State got killed. Was it by Utah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of got killed. It was definitely more than 8 points. It was double digits. So, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
also a road game.
Yep.
So, Iowa State burned me last weekend. This might be a good time to take Iowa State, but
I haven't
yeah,
tailed Iowa. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just saying I don't as appetizing as it looks to take the 8 point or lay the 8 points here. I still have a sour taste in my mouth from last weekend with Iowa State. So
What's the point total for the game?
49 and a half.
Maybe the under is the way to go there. I know Iowa State's defense is not trustworthy, but if there's a get right spot for the Iowa State defense, this would be it. And I do trust Arizona State's defense still. So if their psyche is still pretty good, then I could see Arizona State kind of making it a slugfest. But
Hmm.
then again, I wouldn't be shocked if Iowa State goes up in the first half by touchdown or two scores, and then they just kind of hold on. Um, Maybe a second half under would be the way to go there.
Okay. All right, next game. I don't know if you have anything or not. UAB at UConn. UConn laying 11 and a half points here.
Nope, have not had a good feel for UConn this season. Not
Yeah.
like last year. I was all over UConn last year multiple times, but this year didn't really have a strong feel for them. Um, UAB honestly don't have a feel for them either. So I don't know.
Yeah, same here. Um, Another 11 a.m. game. Central Florida at Baylor. Baylor laying 3.5. Anything here?
Whew. Man, if UCF wins this game, Dave Aranda might be fired.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. Both of these teams have been struggling lately in this season. I don't have anything here. Like I can't lay 3.5 with Baylor. I don't want to take it with Central Florida. Totals at 60, but I just don't trust either of these teams, and none of them have really played up to kind of their expectations this season.
Yeah, especially on Baylor. And
Yeah.
Baylor's offense has actually been pretty good for the most part
Yeah,
this year.
they definitely have talent on offense. The defense has been terrible.
Yeah, it's one of the worst defenses in the Power Four. I think Baylor is also like one. What's their overall record right now? 4-4.
I have no idea.
If they are 4-4, then they are 1-7 against the spread. Because I'm pretty
Really?
sure
Wow.
Baylor only has one win against the spread this year.
Yeah, they're 4-4.
Okay, so they're 1-7 against the spread. Um,
Yeesh.
yeah,
All right, next game, 11 a.m. Miami Hurricanes laying 10.5 points at the SMU Mustangs. This got all the way up to 12, then 11. Now it's back down to 10.5. You have anything here?
nope. I'm staying away from this game. I don't trust Mario in these kind of spots. This is also Miami's first uh, game that's not played in the state of Florida this season.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually kind of shocking. Yeah, because the Stanford game was at home. Obviously, the Florida State game in Florida, UCF, Gators. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know SMU's been dealing with some defensive injuries, and I know one of their best pass rushers kind of got banged up in that Wake Forest game. I don't know if he came back in or not. I think he leads the nation in sacks.
He
They have
might.
like two guys that are in the top five in sacks this season, and one of them got banged up. I don't know if he's going to play, but I can't. If I was going to take somebody, I would take SMU here. Miami kind of struggled against Stanford, turned it on very late. But again, Kevin Jennings is a walking turnover. We saw this against Wake Forest last weekend, but it worked out in our favor. I just do not trust. And this Miami defense, they actually have some ball hawk safeties. So if Jennings throws some bad passes, they will turn. They will intercept it. This is one of the biggest home SMU games since they've been in the ACC. So even though it's an 11 a.m. game, I expect there to be a big crowd. But again, I don't trust either one of these teams. Miami's look shaky, and SMU's look terrible. Jennings' look bad. People are saying Rhett Lashley's going to go to Auburn. I don't see it. I don't get the Rhett Lashley like love whatsoever. I've followed his whole career, and I honestly don't get it. But yeah, I don't want anything to do with either one of these teams. All right, next game, 11 a.m. West Virginia at Houston. Cougars laying 13 points, coming off of a huge upset win at Arizona State. You have anything here?
What's the point total? Is it 49 and a half?
I'm seeing 49 juice to the under.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So it was 49 and a half earlier this week. I don't have any best bets for this game. Feels like a game where Houston may just come out with find a way to win. They may not win by much margin, but or maybe they do because West Virginia is that bad. So
Yeah.
I don't have any best bets for this game.
Yeah, me either. We talked about this one on Monday. I said if by the time it's kickoff, if West Virginia's plus 14, I would take them. But it's down to 13, and West Virginia is not the best team in the country. Rich Rod's doing what he can. I do like the freshman quarterback for West Virginia, Fox. But this is a good Houston defense. I could see it being low scoring, kind of like you mentioned. But no play for me. If this first, I don't see it happening because it looks like money's coming in on West Virginia. But if this did game go to 14, I would take West Virginia. But I don't see that happening by the time this time tomorrow. All right. Maybe you have something here. Navy midshipman at your North Texas Mean Green. North Texas laying 7 points here. You got anything for us?
So to me, like the only way to play this game would be to either take a team total over or to take the game total over. The thing that scares me though is does Navy go on a long drive or two? Because North Texas run defense is not that good. I think it's like 118th in the country according to either PFF or in total run defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. They don't get a push. And when you watch North Texas games, they struggle in short yardage situations because, again, they don't really get a push with their defensive line. Now, the North Texas pass defense is much improved this year, but not the run defense. And guess what offense is the best in short yardage situations this year? Navy.
Navy.
Now uh, they did come up empty on a few fourth down attempts against FAU last week. Did Navy, but outside of that, they've been automatic on third and fourth and short this year. So that's the one thing that scares me in terms of taking a dead right over in this game for the game total or just for a team total. So I'm ultimately not going to have any best bets for this game. I will say this, though. This is a great litmus test, again, for North Texas because they really haven't played anyone good outside of USF. And we
Mm-hmm.
saw what USF did in Denton in that environment. And the Navy, they haven't really played anyone either. They played Temple, and they should have lost to Temple. And
Mm-hmm.
now they're on the road. So, like, this is just a good test for both of these teams, given that both squads probably had the two most manageable schedules in the American up to this point. So I don't have anything ultimately for this game, but obviously, I don't think either defense is going to get many stops. The question is, how long are Navy's drives? And then, how long are UNT's drives? Or do they hit some big passing plays? Because the weakness of the Navy defense is in the secondary. So I
Hmm.
do think they'll get exposed there. But again, how many possessions will each team have? And then ultimately, what do they do in the red zone? I think Navy's going to
Yeah.
have success in the red zone. What does North Texas do in the red zone? I don't have any best bets for this game, but this will be a very fun game to tune into.
All right. Yeah, same here. I don't have anything here. If I was, I would take the points with Navy. It's a full touchdown. So if this turns into a shootout, which it could, I would take the dog. But yeah, next game, 1 p.m. East Carolina Pirates at the Temple Owls. East Carolina laying 5.5 on the road here.
I heard earlier this week that there is a possibility that Temple might have kind of a mesh or is it mash unit on defense. There's some injuries this week for the Temple defense. East Carolina's strength this year is on the offensive side of the football, not so much like last year when it was the defense.
Hmm.
Um, Temple, kind of a trendy upset pick here. I can see it because they're
Yeah.
at home here. Should they be a 4.5 point underdog at home? Probably not, to be honest with you. But does that say something about the Temple health situation going into this game? So I'm not going to have any best bets on this game. In terms of our UTSA future, I guess I'm going to be pulling for East Carolina. But yeah, I don't. What does Temple's defense look like in this game? Are they going to be healthy? If not, then the number is probably fair. But if Temple doesn't have a mash unit on defense, then Temple's probably a live dog here.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. Temple getting 5.5 points at home, I kind of see it, but East Carolina does have an explosive offense. So if, you know, Temple does have a banged up defense, that's going to matter. It's going to be a factor. So something to keep an eye on into. So this is a 1 p.m. game, so that you have time to look at injury reports, see what comes out regarding the Temple health situation. So that's one to look at. I don't have a play on it, but if I was, I would of course take Temple as the home dog for sure. Getting 5.5 points, that's very appetizing. All right, next game. This is an interesting game to me. Louisville laying 11 points on the road at Virginia Tech, taking on the Hokies. You have any info on this one?
Nope. I don't really know what to expect here. Louisville as a double-digit favorite typically doesn't cover, but they're much better as a underdog under Jeff Brom, but
Uh-huh.
obviously they're not an underdog here. Playing on the road here,
Uh,
Virginia Tech. I do think Virginia
yeah,
Tech.
yeah, definitely. Um,
I do think Virginia Tech could pressure Louisville in this game, but I I just don't trust Kyron Drones, the quarterback for Virginia Tech. So
yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
uh,
I thought this was an interesting game because I did like the way Virginia Tech looked against Cal. They actually played with like they cared about the game. They actually cared about football, and that's something you haven't really seen from Virginia Tech in a while. They've like the past couple years. I mean, I know you were very high on them last season, and
yeah,
they've just kind of looked dead. Like they just not really just into the game. I don't know how else to explain it, but the crowd they actually had a crowd Friday night against Cal. You could say the officiating was awful in that game, period. But Virginia Tech found a way as a 6 point favorite, 6.5 point favorite. Now they're getting 11 points. I'm kind of tempted to take Virginia Tech here. Let me just look at the Louisville schedule. Maybe they have a look ahead here. Let me see if I can pull something up really quick. Louisville's still 6-1. No, Louisville's got Cal next week. and then Clemson, SMU, Kentucky. So this is kind of a cakewalk here for Louisville schedule wise. So maybe they do slip up against Virginia Tech. A lot of one loss teams in the ACC as well. Two undefeated, Georgia Tech and Virginia. And there's one, two, three, four, five one loss teams in the ACC, which is kind of crazy. So maybe maybe Virginia Tech finds something here. Like I said, Philip Montgomery, he's a good coach. He coached with Art Briles at Baylor, and then was a Baylor coach for a few years. But no, or am I thinking of somebody else? Or did he go to Tulsa?
Art Briles or his son?
No, no, no. Philip Montgomery. Did
Oh,
he
so,
coach Tulsa or
yeah,
Baylor
he
or
was at
both?
Tulsa. I know he was
Okay.
at Tulsa.
Okay, I think he like took over right after Briles, and then he got fired, went to Tulsa, and then that's when they hired Aranda. I think that's the timeline. But okay, so I think I kind of like Virginia Tech getting 11 points here. It's not a best bet on my list, but I have been watching this line, seeing where it goes. Louisville is a good team, but this could be a little upset special here in the ACC. All right, next game, 2 p.m. New Mexico Lobos at UNLV Rebels. Rebels laying 4.5 points. You have anything here?
I don't, but you might, right?
Yes, we talked about this on Monday. I did like New Mexico +5 in this spot. Um, they haven't fared well against UNLV, but we know that UNLV doesn't have the best defense right now.
Yeah.
They have been winning some close games, a lot of close games. I think two overtime games. Do didn't was it
Let me
that
pull
Mac
it up.
school they played went to overtime as well as another Mountain West game?
I think you are correct. Let me see
I
here.
can't think of the Mountain West game that went to overtime.
Let me see.
If they did, I think that I know that Mac game went to OT. I can't think of the Mountain West game, but they have been playing very close games. So
Actually,
I do.
they haven't had an overtime game yet this season, but they have won some close games. I mean, they
Okay,
beat UCLA
okay.
by a touchdown. They beat Miami of Ohio by 3. They won by 2 touchdowns at Wyoming, but Wyoming actually outgained UNLV. UNLV had a couple of special teams touchdowns in that game,
Hmm.
and then they were pretty fortunate to beat Air Force at home. And Air Force really good offense, really bad defense.
Yep.
And then, of course, the UNLV got boat raced by Boise State, which I should have had a best bet on because I was saying that for like the entire season. So, yeah, I don't think UNLV is as good as their record. So I think they're kind of fraudulent.
Yeah. No, and I agree there, and I do like New Mexico. Um, This totals at 61 and a half. I thought this was in the 50s. Maybe I'm thinking of another game. But yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to go with my first gut feeling, and that was New Mexico Lobos plus. It was +5 when we talked about it on Monday. I'll just go ahead and stick with the 4.5 here. Either way, I'll take New Mexico, and I think we get a shootout here in the desert, Las Vegas. And I like this New Mexico team. Their pass defense does scare me at times, but if we can get a shootout here, I like the Lobos.
One more. Is that you said +4.5 or +4?
4.5.
All right.
So I'm gonna stick with my guns on that one. All right. Next game. I know you talked about it, and I think you tweeted something out for this game. 2:30 game. Notre Dame Fighting Irish laying 28 and a half at Boston College. Go ahead and take it over here.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite plays of the entire season. So give me Notre Dame team total over 41.5. Now, you could have found that at DraftKings earlier in the week. You might be able to buy that down, tease it down a little bit. You have to pay probably like 5 to 10 more cents on it. Not a bad play in my mind. So right now, Notre Dame's team total is 42.5 at most places. Here's my thinking with this game. So this is a two-part play for me. Well, there's two reasons for this play. Number one, Notre Dame's offense really, really good, going up against a pretty suspect defense for Boston College. Boston College has one of the worst defenses in the Power Four. Second, after Notre Dame's first two games, and those were losses against A&M and Miami in close games, Notre Dame pretty much had to win out to have a shot at making the college football playoff. And we have seen Notre Dame put up pretty large margin of victories and large point totals since. For a
Yeah.
couple of reasons. One, their offense is really good, and second, they're not really playing that tough of competition. So I think Notre Dame's going to try to put up a show. They've tried to put up a show for the CFP committee since those first two losses, and I think they're going to continue to do that. Like, why would they stop? And Boston College, they are reeling right now. They're not making a bowl game. They know it. So, like, what's the motivation here for BC? I think it's a little bit of a rivalry. So maybe Boston College covers with like a backdoor score or so. The spread's 28.5, 29.5, depending on where you look. I'm not going to sweat that out. Just give me the Notre Dame team total over. If you like Notre Dame to cover that spread, you're probably thinking they're scoring a lot of points. The predicted score right now is essentially saying Notre Dame is going to score at least 42. And I got it below that key number. So give me Notre Dame team total over 41.5. I think they might put up 50 something in this game.
Okay, I like it. All right. Next game. All right. 2:30 game. Indiana Hoosiers at the Maryland Terrapins. Hoosiers laying 21 on the road. You got any info here?
No, I'm the Kurt Signetti guy. I was tailing Indiana all season a year ago, um, but this year haven't been tailing Indiana quite as much, just because they've been favorites now, big, large
Yeah.
favorites in a lot of games this season. So I don't have a best bet for this game. Maryland's defense is actually pretty decent. You've been tailing Maryland a decent amount this year, John. Do you have anything for this game?
Yeah, I know I have, and I did. I faded them last. Was it last weekend when they played UCLA?
I think
Or was
that's
that
right.
two
Yeah.
weeks ago? I can't remember. And they played good. They played. No, that was 2 weeks ago because UCLA played Indiana
Oh,
last weekend.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean Maryland's that they're a tough team, but Indiana right now they're trying to run it up on everybody. And can Maryland keep this game close? Probably, but again, freshman quarterback going up against a veteran defense in Indiana. I can't take Maryland here, and I'm not one to lay 21 on the road. So pass for me on that game. But the next game, 2:30, Michigan State at Minnesota. For me, we talked about this on Monday. I took 3 points. This actually did get down to three for a short period of time, but let's see here. Yeah, it's the hook's expensive. It's about a dollar to get down -3. It's going to be -128, so a little bit pricey there. But I did whenever Michigan State was juiced early in the week on Monday. I said go ahead, buy down, take Minnesota laying three. I would, lay the 3.5. I think Minnesota has a huge game here. Writings on the wall for head coach Jonathan Smith to get axed there at in East Lansing, and Minnesota's coming off an embarrassing game um, against Iowa. You had Iowa last week, so it was a huge blowout loss for Minnesota. Minnesota's a decent team, and Michigan State, I don't trust them. Aiden Childs, I'm not a fan. I think this is a PJ Fleck. We gotta get back on track, and I think they can do it against this Michigan State team. I disagree with the spread. I think it should be closer to maybe like 5 points. But I do have Minnesota laying three here. If you want to take the 3.5, go ahead. If you want to pay to buy down, I get it. But that's why it helps to watch the Monday show when we get numbers that we love. But yeah, I'm all over the Gophers here.
I don't have anything for this game, but I'll be pulling for the Golden Gophers for your sake.
All right, I appreciate that. A little different than last week whenever you had Iowa and they just destroyed them. That was nice to see
Oh,
though.
yeah.
2:30 Fresno State at Boise. Boise State laying 17.5 points. You have anything here?
Nope. Do you?
No, no, nothing for me. Pitt laying 14 at Stanford. You got anything on this one?
Nope. But I might be tailing Pittsburgh in the coming weeks. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's actually they're one of those one-loss teams in the ACC that's keeping pace with the top of the conference. So they're still technically live for the ACC championship. Stanford's at least playing tough. They don't have a lot of talent, but they're playing tough. So if you're going to lay 14 points, just know that you're going to get Stanford's best game. Next game, 2:30 Texas Tech Red Raiders laying 7 at Kansas State. You have anything here?
Nope. But you might, right?
I do, and I gave this out on Monday again. Kansas State plus 7.5. Now it's only plus 7. Texas Tech taking some money. They're juiced about $1.15. But I do love Kansas State here. This is kind of feels like the Kansas game last weekend. Kansas State has dominated this matchup, and maybe Kansas State and Kleiman and Avery Johnson and Matt Wells, maybe they kind of figured something out. Since their bye week, they've been playing like a completely different team, and they showed that against Kansas. We know Kansas isn't anything special, but nonetheless it was still a rivalry game on the road. Kansas State looked great, and I love Kansas State in this spot. They've dominated this matchup. Texas Tech, I believe, is no, they've been decent on the road. They did lose to Arizona State on the road, but I feel like this Kansas State team has turned a corner since that bye week, and they're gonna have their best game and their best effort for Texas Tech. So, I mean, I'm fine with taking 7 points here, but like I said, I got the 7.5, gave it out Monday, and I've got that one in the books. All right, next game. You don't have anything in the Conference USA, right?
No, not this
All
week.
right, I'm gonna skip these games. Nasty games. Um, all right, 2:30. The Georgia Bulldogs laying 7 points at Florida. You got anything for us in this one?
No, but I will say this. I'm not going to have a best bet on this, but I think um, a decent way to play this would be to take Georgia's second half spread because they have been a really good second half team with adjustments. They are not the most talented team under Kirby Smart, um, but in case Florida's hanging around in the first half, which I could see,
Yeah.
I would imagine Georgia makes those adjustments and they play very well in the second half, like they've done every single week this season. So I don't know what Georgia's second half spread is, maybe 3.5, but yeah, I would consider that.
Yeah. Nothing for me here. You really can't trust either of these teams. Georgia, some again, they look terrible and they are terrible defensively. Like I don't care what anybody says. They kind of skated by. They kind of got lucky against Ole Miss, which I was kind of thankful for because I had Georgia in that game. But, Alabama killed them. And this is when Georgia's at home. So I don't trust Florida either, but if I'm going to play something in this game, I'm going to take the points with Florida and hold my nose because this Georgia defense, they'll probably struggle with this Florida offense. If Florida plays like they did against Texas, Florida should win this game. But your guess is as good as mine as which Florida team is going to show up, especially on the offensive side of the football with DJ Lagway. Lagway did say he's a Gator for life and he's not going to transfer even if there's a coaching change. So that was interesting. But yeah, I couldn't bet. It was hard enough betting Georgia on at home. Now they're on the road in a rivalry game. I would have to take Florida here. It's not a best bet for me. If it got close to kickoff, +7, maybe I throw something on Florida. That's something I'll tweet out. But yeah, I just can't lay it with Georgia and that defense in this game. Next game. This is a interesting spread. Another ACC game, and this one's at 2:45. The Virginia Cavaliers laying 5.5 at Cal Berkeley. You have anything on in this game?
Two teams that I want to fade at this point in the season going against each other. We like Virginia to start the
Yeah.
season. We thought they would be undervalued. We were right about that. But now I think it's the time to tail Virginia has finished. Unless you want to tail them one last time in this game, I don't hate it, but at the same time, it's like Virginia's time is coming. It just may not be against Cal.
Yeah.
Um, because Cal's another team that I want to fade right now. So I am probably going to be on a couple of Virginia's opponents in the next couple of weeks, especially Duke when they host the Cavaliers.
Hmm.
Um, but the thing is, like Virginia just doesn't play any juggernauts out. Not that Duke's a juggernaut. Not that in anyone
Yeah.
in the ACC, maybe outside of Miami's talent, is a juggernaut. But I'm going to fade Virginia at some point in the next couple of weeks, but it's not going to be this game.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the spreads for Virginia have been a little bit over that they've overvalued
Yeah.
the Cavaliers a little too much, and we've kind of been talking about that. They struggled against Washington State. You said that was a game they should have lost, and they were a 17-point favorite in that game. Against North Carolina, I can't remember what the spread was, but they kind of
Nine
just
and a half,
beat
10.5.
nine. Okay, and then they won by what? One
One.
point, 3 points.
Yeah. In overtime.
Yeah. So this Virginia team, ever since the Florida State game, we know that they're good, but the market is really overvaluing this Virginia team by about 3 points, and I agree with it in this game as well. Cal's a legit team. Are they the best in the country? No, because they're very young, but can they play with Virginia? 100%. Um, so this is another game where common opponent, Cal beat North Carolina by 3, Virginia beat North Carolina by 1. So if you want to go base off of that, you take the points with Cal here. I feel like this is closer to a 3 point spread, 2.5, 3 point spread for Virginia. 5.5 is a little too rich for me, but I could Virginia just hasn't proven it, especially in our last couple games against North Carolina and Washington State. They haven't proven they should be a 5.5, 6 point favorite on the road against a very capable Cal team. I'm not going to bet on this game, but if I was, it would be on Cal Berkeley because I disagree with the number here. All right, next game. Ooh, oh, okay. 3 p.m. game. Mississippi State Bulldogs at the Arkansas Razorbacks. Razorbacks laying 5 points. You have anything here?
Uh, no. Both of these teams struggle so much in close games, but someone's got to win this game, so that'll be fun to maybe tune into in the fourth quarter
Right.
because I'm
Yeah.
sure both teams are going to be trying to lose it. So we'll just see
Oh,
which team
I,
ends up.
I, I could already guarantee you it's going to be one of the ugliest games you're ever going to see. So, yeah, if you're going to watch it, tune into the fourth quarter because for whatever reason, I've been watching way too much Arkansas football, and I could guarantee you this is going to be one of the ugliest games of the day. But at the same time, it would be worth watching. And I didn't mean to cut you off there, but yeah, I
You're
just
good.
need both of these teams. I mean, Jeff Levy. I had a bet on Mississippi State last weekend, +7.5, even money. Loved it. They played great, but Jeff Levy did everything in his power to lose this game for the Bulldogs. Just the decision making, the game management, special teams. They had a blocked field goal, and of course, the famous punt return for a touchdown to tie the game. And this is just awful coaching from Levy. Um, it's this Mississippi State team actually has some decent talent, and even on the defensive side of the ball, I like the way that they looked against Texas. It was a home game, but I can tell you right now, Arkansas has zero defense, literally zero defense. So that's why the total's at 67 and a half. Mississippi State, I like their offense. They could run the ball, they could throw the ball. Again, Arkansas had no business being a 2.5 point favorite against Auburn or any team in the country, especially that, let alone the SEC. So give me Mississippi State here. I have them as one of my best bets, +5. So naturally, it'll be the one game that Arkansas does show up for to screw me over. But I just don't see it defensively for Arkansas. If Mississippi State even plays a fraction as good as they did against Texas, they should be in good shape. And if that defense plays like they did against Texas, they'll have a great game against Arkansas. Taylon Green looks a little checked out to me. Um, he has all the talent in the world, but he just can't put it together, and it showed against Auburn. So I want nothing to do with this Arkansas team. Give me 5 here. I disagree with the spread, so give me Mississippi State +5. It looks like money's still coming in on Arkansas, so you may even get a better number by the time this game kicks off. But I'll go ahead and take the 5 points with the Bulldogs.
All right.
All right, next game. I know we talked about this a little earlier this morning, and maybe you could at least enlighten the audience here about your thought process and thinking. And this is a 3 p.m. kick. Oklahoma State Cowboys taking on the Kansas Jayhawks. Jayhawks laying 24 at home.
So I wanted to have a best bet on the KU first half team total. Why? Oklahoma State's been so bad this season that they get boat race in the first half, and then their opponents take their foot off the gas in the second half. This is also a bounce back spot for KU coming off back to back losses, playing at home against Oklahoma State. So I think KU is going to, do their damage in the first half. Maybe they do a little bit in the third quarter, and then they just kind of rest easy in the fourth quarter and get on to the next game. So I would, instead of taking the spread for the full game or the spread for the first half, because I don't trust KU's defense, not that I trust Oklahoma State's offense, but um, the thing that I know the most about these two teams is that KU can score and Oklahoma State can't stop anyone. Well, that probably lines up in the first half in a bounce back spot for KU at home here to score some points in the first half and to run away with it early. So I would take, if I could find a good number, I would take the KU first half team total. Here is the problem. The only place that I'm finding a first half team total listed is at FanDuel right now, and it's at 21 and a half, juiced under, but it's above that key number. If I could get it at 20 and a half, even with some juice to the over, I would bet that. And I'm looking around right now, John, still for
And
that.
that's a first half team total.
Yes.
And just FYI, the first half spread is -14 for Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, I just in case KU's defense is not playing well, which there's always a chance of
Oh
that,
no,
obviously.
they won't play well. I can already guarantee you that.
Let me see if I
Even
can
if it is Oklahoma State, they won't play well.
please be it. Dang it. So right now at FanDuel, it's juiced -140 to the under at 21 and a half. So I guess I will not make a best bet on this for the show. But if I'll tweet it out if it comes available, and I'll include that as a best bet. So make sure to check out my tweets at CFE Grind. But as of now, I do not have a best bet for this game. But folks, do pay attention to the market to see where KU's first half team total closes. It might close at 20 and a half of the first half. If it does, take the over.
All right, there you go. All right, next game, 6 p.m. We head to the Big Ten. Ugly matchup here. and that's Purdue Boilermakers at the Michigan Wolverines. Wolverines laying 21 points. You have anything here?
Um, no, I do not. One last thing about the KU game, I
Go ahead.
forgot to say this. Every single one of Oklahoma State's Big 12 opponents have hit the over on their first half team total. So that's a trend for you.
Okay. Anything on the Michigan game?
No.
Yeah, me either. I'm not gonna waste any time watching that. I'm already gonna be um, poisoning my brain watching Mississippi State, Arkansas. So, all right, next game: Arizona Wildcats laying 4.5 at the Colorado Buffaloes. Buffaloes coming off one of the most embarrassing games last weekend, getting killed by Utah. You have anything for us here?
I'm uh no. No.
Yeah, me either. I lean Arizona for obvious reasons. Colorado defense is not good, but Arizona's been up and down this season, especially on the road. They've been much better at home, but on the road they have struggled. So it wouldn't surprise me if Colorado actually does have a good showing, especially at home in a bounce back spot against a vulnerable Arizona team. But nothing for me here. I'll be curious to see how that final score looks, but no play for me in that game. Um, 6 p.m. South Carolina Gamecocks at Ole Miss. Ole Miss laying 12 and a half. You have anything here?
Nope. I'm
Okay.
not touching that one.
Yeah. Yeah, me either. I wouldn't be surprised if Ole Miss beats the brakes off of Shane Beamer. They fire Shane Beamer. That's probably what should happen. Will it? I doubt it, but that's what should happen. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, they're feeling themselves right now. They think they're the best team in the SEC. I still have Alabama as the best team in the SEC, so we'll see what happens there. But no play for me. I'm not going to lay double digits, but I could really see Ole Miss destroying South Carolina. Letdown spot for the Gamecocks after losing to Alabama in a tough way in the fourth quarter. So Ole Miss winning by 20 plus points would not surprise me whatsoever. If I was to play the game, it would be Ole Miss, but nothing for me. I don't like laying double digits like that in a conference game.
And I have Auburn as the best team in the SEC.
Oh my god. You must have only watched the one game this season when they played Baylor. So
And I'll
uh,
be tuning into their game against Kentucky this week.
uh, we're almost there. All right, 6 p.m. I know you got something here that you tweeted out earlier in the week, and the Wyoming Cowboys at San Diego State Aztecs. Aztecs laying 10.5 at home. Take it away.
So I laid it with San Diego State earlier in the week when it was at 9.5. San Diego State is on a generational run against the spread. Like they've been hammering these spreads. It's not even close. They've been covering. The only time that they haven't covered, folks, is the only time that I've bet San Diego State on DDSN this season. So here we go again. I'm going to be the kryptonite to San Diego State. I'm laying it though with the Aztecs hosting Wyoming. Again, though, I got it earlier in the week. That's why it's important to listen to our shows early in the week as well. It was at 9.5 then. It's now 10.5 to 11.5 actually at some other places, depending on where you look. So I like San Diego State though to cover here at home. Wyoming just won their Super Bowl last week against me and against Colorado State. No, I mean I've faded Wyoming twice this year, and those have been like two of their only wins that they've actually.
Yeah, yeah. At home,
So
it's always hard to fade them in Laramie.
true,
Um,
that's true.
so yeah, it's live and learn situation. But
And you know what's funny is I wanted to tail Wyoming against UNLV and Laramie,
and that's
and
what they
then I would have
screwed
lost
up.
that, and I would
Um,
have and they would have screwed me over because they outplayed UNLV, but UNLV had a couple of special teams touchdowns.
yeah,
Um,
I remember
but
that.
so I've been correct about my viewpoint of Wyoming, but I have not been correct with my best bets because I've just had the wrong times to either fade or tail Wyoming. So I'll
Hmm.
try again. I'm fading Wyoming. I'm 0-2 in that, but we'll see if I can finally get a win here. Um, and San Diego State, one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the G5. So I like the Aztecs to roll here at home. But next week, next 2 weeks, big games for San Diego State on the road against Hawaii on the Big Island, and then they host Boise State.
Those are
So,
two big games.
yeah, this is a good spot for San Diego State, but we'll see about the next 2 weeks.
All right, next game, 6:30, Oklahoma Sooners at the Tennessee Volunteers. Rocky Top laying 3 points here. You got anything for us?
I do not, but you might.
I do. I do. And this is one of my favorite games of the weekend. And that's Tennessee laying 3 points here. I don't see it with Oklahoma. John Mateer has he's literally playing with a broken thumb still. Just had surgery, and if you've watched every single game that I have of the Sooners, he's looked awful. Even in their one victory against South Carolina's awful, but Oklahoma played great defense there. But the offense has still been struggling. They had one big play against Ole Miss, but Ole Miss dominated that game. Ole Miss offensively dominated that game against this so-called great Oklahoma defense. And I know a lot of people are down on Tennessee because they haven't played anybody. But I mean, come on, guys! It's college football. You play your schedule. You don't get to pick and choose who you play against for the most part. You have non-conference, but like conference teams, you really don't get to pick your schedule. So they're playing their schedule, and I get it to where people, because I mean Oklahoma's getting juiced here. It's plus $3.14. I just don't see it. Oklahoma Mateer can't throw the ball. They're forcing him to throw, and if Tennessee can score quickly, which will force Oklahoma to have to throw the ball, that's a recipe for disaster for the Sooners right now. Mateer is just not healthy, and they're not even running with him either. They're forcing him to throw, and Ole Miss did force him to throw because of how great they played offensively. And I think this Tennessee defense may be just as good as Ole Miss offense. They may not have the star power, but Tennessee can play, and they proved that against Kentucky. Kentucky's not great, but Tennessee scored on every single possession except for one. They punted once, and of course, this is the Hypo Bowl. Tennessee against Oklahoma. I don't see him losing to the Sooners. I love Tennessee in this spot. Okay, next game, 6:30. Wake Forest Demon Deacons at the Florida State Seminoles in Tallahassee. You have anything for us in this game?
Nope, but I know this has been a common best bet with Wake Forest plus the points because they're trending up and Florida State is trending down. But I'm not going to have anything on this game.
Yeah, same here. You were on, and I also tailed you at Wake Forest last weekend hosting SMU. That was a great win for Wake Forest. But I do have some issues with their coach. Pretty poor game management. I like the way how he played or he coached the game, managed it, from the sense that he trusted his defense, who was forcing turnovers, um, and he would punt it no matter what, no matter where he was. He would punt the football, punt the football, punt the football, and let the defense control the game. And they were doing great. And then finally, he decides to go for it. This was the third or fourth quarter. He goes for it on his own, I believe, 30, 40-yard line. They don't get it. Of course, SMU gets the ball. I forget what happened. They either turn it over or they miss a field goal, which we were very fortunate with Wake Forest last week because the SMU kicker, I believe, missed two field goals and two extra points, somewhere around there. So I think that's one of those games where we should just be happy that we covered with Wake Forest last week and not dip our toes in again a second time because it wouldn't surprise me if Florida State has a great game here. Wake Forest, I do like the way they played at home, but now a night game in Tallahassee. Who knows how many people are going to be there? But I feel like I don't want to back Wake Forest again, and it could be a tough environment. I feel like we got fortunate last week. I don't want to press my luck with them again this week.
Wake Forest had not just one, but two red zone turnovers in goal to go
Like on
situation.
the 1 yard line.
Yeah, so like Wake Forest actually should have won that game by more than what they did. But Yeah, Wake
Yeah.
Forest has been good against the spread this year. I think they've just been an undervalued team, and I didn't think they were going to be this good this year. So
Yeah, no, not at all. Especially offensively, or the defense rather. The
the
defense has been playing
defense,
great.
yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like Wake Forest, but and they did. You're right. They should have scored on the inside the 5 yard line multiple times, but again, I don't know. Something's telling me not to to just stay away from this game. So I am. If I was to play it, I would take the points because you really can't trust Florida State right now. And I do like the way this Wake Forest defense looks. So, but nothing for me. Maybe something at 6:30. I'll tweet it out, but nothing right now. Next game, 6:30. The Yellow Jackets, Georgia Tech laying 5.5 at North Carolina State. You have anything here?
no, and I have not looked into this game and this matchup that much, but I do find this line kind of interesting.
It is. I don't. Is North Carolina has to be on a losing streak? Are they?
I think they are.
I think because they were close with they were close with Pitt, and then I believe Pitt ended up running away with that game. Yeah, they did
Yeah,
53-34.
NC State's
The
lost 4 of the last 5,
yeah,
and their only
their
win
only
in that
win
stretch
being
is Campbell.
their only win was against Campbell. Yeah, so this kind of looks like one where you say night game upset with North Carolina State, but do you really want to be sweating that? Georgia Tech's, they're a good road team because they run the football. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to bet on this one, but it is an interesting spread to me, though. And Georgia Tech's one of the undefeated teams in the ACC, so they're going to get North Carolina State's best game, that's for sure. But nothing for me. All right, next game, 6:30. Washington State laying 3.5 against their Pac-12 rival, a conference of two here, against Oregon State Beavers. You have anything in this game?
Nope. Do you?
No, not at all. If I was to play it, I would probably take Wazoo, but yeah, that's I don't want to spend any time like sweating out like Washington State, Oregon State. So no, I would take Wazoo. I think Washington State actually has been playing well recently. Oregon State's kind of like a lame duck right now, and I want nothing to do with them. So if I did have to, it would be Washington State. But I know you got something on the next game. Another 6:30 game. Kentucky Wildcats at the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle lane 11. What do you got for us here?
This was a play from our early week show. I'm laying it with Auburn minus 10. That spread's now 11 to 11 and a half, depending on where you look. I like Auburn minus 10 here. I know a lot of people are going to be on Kentucky plus the points here because they don't trust Auburn covering that kind of a number, and I get it. But Auburn's going to be playing Ashton Daniels again at quarterback, and I think not that it's like that much of a spark, but I think it provides a emotional and a mental spark here for Auburn. I think they can get their receivers involved, and if they do that, it's a night and day difference offensively for Auburn because they have the receivers to take the top over the Kentucky defense, and we just saw Tennessee do that last week. Kentucky is the least talented team in the SEC, both offensively and defensively, and Auburn is much more talented than their record suggests. We know what's been holding Auburn back, and there might be a change at that position at quarterback. So I think in this kind of a spot, Hugh Freeze is going to put up a number. I think Auburn covers here because again, the public will be over all over Kentucky here. Not saying that they think Kentucky will win, but cover. I think Auburn covers, and I think Auburn wins this game decisively.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier in the week on Monday. I do like the way that this Kentucky offense has been looking, but again, they're not ready. And I'm a big Ashton Daniels fan. I liked him when he played at Stanford. I don't know why anybody would start Jackson Arnold at quarterback, which we found out that was probably a bad idea. And Hugh Freeze had to learn the hard way. So Auburn's playing, with the backs against the wall and it is a double digits. What is that something I would play? No, because I hate both of these teams. But I'll be rooting for you in Auburn though. I won't be rooting for Kentucky. I do like the Kentucky freshman quarterback though. He's been playing very well since taking over the job. He's actually been pretty good for a freshman.
Oh, and in terms of preseason futures, we are two Kentucky losses away from cashing that.
Oh, okay, very
Oh,
good.
and we are one more Kentucky SEC loss away from cashing in Kentucky's SEC win total, conference win total under
Yeah.
in an article that I wrote, which I have pinned to the top of my personal profile, and I'll pin it to the top of my CFE grind page as well.
All right, perfect. Okay. Next game, 6:30. USC Trojans laying 5 at Nebraska. You have anything here?
I don't, but do you?
We talked about this on Monday. I did love this spot for Nebraska, especially when they were getting 6.5 points. It's down to 5. But I did say this is a game that Nebraska can win. Um, you have a really strong USC passing game, but they're going on the road. And I did see a stat where apparently Lincoln Riley's awful when he's on the road and has to travel multiple time zones. I believe I think it was a Brad Powers tweet where he
Yeah,
was 1-7 against the spread.
that's right.
So that made me even more comfortable with Nebraska here. And like I said, they're almost 2-1 on the money line. This USC Trojans team, I saw what I needed to see when they played Notre Dame. Notre Dame was trying to give the game away to USC, and Lincoln Riley just wouldn't take it. He didn't want it. And I'm a Lincoln Riley, a fan, but since he was at East Carolina with Ruffin McNeil, but the way he ran in the pouring rain, mind you, I believe USC was down maybe a touchdown, maybe 10 points, 14 points, somewhere around there, and they're on the Notre Dame 30-yard line, and he runs a reverse to wide receiver to throw a pass in the pouring rain, and the kid's got no room to throw it, and it's a freshman. It's their superstar freshman, whatever his name is. And he's like trying to throw it, and he just bobbles the ball, loses it. Notre Dame gets the ball. They ended up winning by 10 points. So that was a game USC could have very much won. Notre Dame's kicker missed a couple field goals, extra point. The game was there, and I don't know. He just didn't want to win. So after that, I was kind of on USC this season as kind of like a under the radar team, but now I'm selling. After that, they covered for me plus 11, but I sold my shares on USC Trojans that night, and I think I like this Nebraska. I'm not the biggest Nebraska fan. In general, I hate Nebraska, but this team this is just a perfect spot for Nebraska night game. USC's got to travel. They always complain about travel, so I'm not going to say 6.5. Give me the 5 here. I also think Nebraska wins this game outright. Matt Rule just signed his extension yesterday, 2 more years. Uh, so everything's rolling right now for Nebraska and the Big Red. And are they coming off a no, no, they played Northwestern last weekend. They won, which is a little look ahead spot. But yeah, go ahead and give me Nebraska plus 5. I also think they win this game outright.
All right.
Okay, next game, 9 p.m., 9:15. Cincinnati Bearcats taking on the Utah Utes. Utah laying 10.5 at home. You have anything for us here?
So a lot of sharp money here on Utah because the public money is on Cincinnati. I
Mm.
uh I don't have anything for this game. But if Utah ends up covering that spread, it's like, aha. So there was more to it.
Yeah.
Um I don't have anything on this game, do you?
No, this is one where this is a 9:15 game, so I'm gonna wait all the way up to kickoff to see how this line moves. I am a Sorsby fan. I do not like Satterfield whatsoever, but Sorsby's a damn good quarterback. This Utah, is it a freshman that played against Colorado for Utah? The
Um,
quarterback?
Certainly an underclassman.
He
Let me
played
see.
amazing from what I saw. And of
Yeah, they're
course,
high on him.
yeah, and of course, this is gonna be a step up in competition compared to Colorado and Colorado's defense mainly. Um, but Utah's been strong ever since the Texas Tech loss. Utah's been playing great. Like I said, I'm not gonna lay 10.5 right now. It seems like from what I've seen, it seems like a lot of people are on Utah, so that kind of scares me. Um, but I
Bird,
want to see how this spread looks by the time it gets to 9 p.m. tomorrow.
gotcha. Bird Ficklin is the freshman quarterback for
He
Utah.
is a freshman. Okay,
Bird
yeah.
is the word.
Bird is a word. Okay, yeah. I think he played great against Colorado, and I'm assuming he's starting again, isn't he?
They
Haven't
said that
said.
Dampier might play. So,
Okay,
but
maybe that's why it's at a 10 now.
yeah,
Okay. All right, yeah, this one I'll wait. I'll tweet out if I play anything. All right, get out game, last game of the night, and it should be a good one. Hawaii Rainbow Warriors at the San Jose State Spartans. Spartans laying 1 point, total of 57. What do you have for us here?
um, I don't have anything on this game. Um, I think it's probably going to come down to the wire, but I don't have any best bets. Do you?
No, no, it's one if all goes well. I'll probably watch it, but I'd probably have to take the home team here if they're healthy. If the quarterback and that little wide receiver, if he's healthy, yeah, San Jose State all the way for me. Although Hawaii has been good, but this San Jose State team is actually the real deal, especially on offense, and they're really strong at home. Hawaii's got to travel, although it is to California, it's not too bad. But I would take the home team here in a short spread, 1 point. Money lines minus 120. So either way you want to play it. But I do like the way the San Jose State team's been playing on offense, especially in the passing game, and they love to run the ball. They use like six different running backs, and yeah, I would probably play San Jose State here to be honest.
I could see that.
Is the quarterback and wide receiver healthy? They played last weekend, didn't they?
I haven't looked into it at all. I have not looked into this matchup. I didn't want to have. I didn't have any leans in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I have not looked into news regarding this matchup.
Okay, yeah, I would just double check that before you bet on it to see if the starting quarterback's in and the wide receiver. But like I said, San Jose State loves to run the ball. They use a ton of running backs, so they're a legit team. But that's everything. Let's go ahead and go over our best bets. My record on the season 17, 14, and 4. My best bets are, let me pull them back up here. I got Texas on the money line, which that's one I gave out on Monday. You got to watch the Monday show. Now it's -3. I still think Texas can cover the 3 points, but I do have them on the money line -125. I've got Kansas State +7.5. Gave that out as well on Monday. I do like Kansas State +7 as well, but of course having that extra half points nice. Minnesota -3, another one I gave out on Monday. You would have to buy the hook now, and I think for the Gophers it was an expensive hook, about 18 cents worth. I believe it was -3, -128. I got this at Minnesota -3. I think it was -115, 116, but I still love the Gophers here, and I think they're going to have a great game and beat up on Michigan State, a dead team. So you don't even have to buy the hook. Just fucking, I think Minnesota's gonna trash these guys. Tennessee laying 3 points. I love the Volunteers in the Hypo Bowl. I don't know why people are betting Oklahoma. A lot of people are saying that Tennessee's they haven't beaten anybody, but they're just playing their schedule, and I've liked the way they looked. They did struggle against Georgia and lose, but we'll see what Oklahoma can do. I'm fading Mateer's injured thumb, and that pass defense is struggling right now. Mississippi State +5 in a game where it should just be a pick 'em. Nobody should be favored. Two terrible teams, but I do prefer the Mississippi State offense, running game, and their defense compared to the Arkansas defense, which is literally non existent. You might as well just have cones out there. It's basically the same thing. I also gave out New Mexico +5 on Monday. It's down to 4.5. I just went ahead and took the 4.5 here for everyone that's watching today. And Nebraska talked about it, gave this one out at 6.5, but I'll take the 5 here because I do think they also win this game outright. +177 on the money line, so you almost get a 2-to-1 dog on the money line at home in a night game. These Nebraska fans are going to show up. Matt Rule just got a nice little contract extension yesterday. Give me Nebraska. Love the Cornhuskers in this spot. Fading USC. Not so much Lincoln Riley. Before I saw that Lincoln Riley stat, I already liked Nebraska in this spot. Talked about it on Monday, so I'm sticking with my guns here. These are all every single game here I gave out on Monday with a much better number. So be sure to always watch the Monday show on X on YouTube. But those are my plays today. I love them. I love them on Monday. I still love them now. What do you got here, Encyclopedia?
All right, starting off with a Friday night matchup later tonight. A spooky, scary spot here for Memphis, traveling to Rice. This is a sandwich game here for the Tigers against the Owls. Who? Give me Rice plus Rice. Give me Rice plus 14.5.
It's at a 14 now. It's on Bet Online. It just got to a 14.
I'm okay with Rice plus 14. I got plus 14.5 though earlier in the week. Again, that's why it's important to listen to our early shows early on in the week. We always find the best numbers with our best bets. Obviously, they don't always cash, but we try to get on top of numbers before they change. So give me Rice plus 14.5 later tonight. Give me Notre Dame team total over 41.5. The implied score here is basically 42-13, right around that 28.5 to 29.5 point spread. But if you think Notre Dame's going to cover, you're probably thinking Notre Dame's going to score a lot on Boston College. And I agree with that. So just give me the Notre Dame team total over there. Don't want to sweat out that kind of a spread with potential bad beat there. San Diego State, I'm laying the 9.5 with the Aztecs. They're playing at home, hosting Wyoming. I don't think Wyoming's going to do much, if anything, against the San Diego State defense. And I think San Diego State's offense is improving. Wyoming's coming off of an emotional win against their rival, Colorado State, against one of their rivals, I should say. So this is a potential letdown spot for Wyoming and a really good spot at home for San Diego State. I got on this number earlier in the week. 9.5. It's now 10.5 to 11. So yeah, I like the Aztecs minus 9.5 there. Give me under 47.5 between Texas and Vanderbilt. I think this could be a slugfest. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points scored here, especially not for Vanderbilt. And honestly, I don't really trust the Texas offense all that much, especially not their quarterback and offensive line. Even if Diego Pavia pulls out a couple of magician-like plays out of his hat, it's still going to be tough sledding for the Vanderbilt offense in this game. And with the pace of play from both teams, I think we're going to have a lot of running down the clock in this game, and a lot of running from both teams. So give me the under 47.5 between those two. Yes, DDSN Nation, that's only my second point total bet of the year, so hopefully I can cash this one in after losing my first with Texas against Florida a few weeks ago. And then my last best bet, give me Auburn minus 10. I think finally, Auburn wins by margin against the least talented team in the SEC, in the Kentucky Wildcats, and Auburn is playing on the Plains in this game. So yeah, give me the Tigers minus 10. That number is now minus 11 to minus 11.5, depending on where you look.
All right, I like it. We got these locked in. Thanks for everyone that tuned in today. Remember to follow at CFE Grind at DDSN underscore US on X. I love this week. I really do love all these plays. We talked about it all day Monday and again today. But that's everything we have. You got anything to close us out with, Connor?
I'm looking to see if that KU first half team total has changed against Oklahoma State. It has not,
No,
but
not
do
yet.
pay attention. I will because I'll be looking at that, and um, if it goes down to 20 and a half, I will take the KU team total, first half team total over 20 and a half if it goes down, but above that key number, I don't want to sweat it out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's everything for us. Again, thank you for watching. Follow us, and good luck to us this weekend. I look forward to it. All right. We'll see you, Connor.
Have a good one, John.